So hi, everyone. I'm sure you've had a wonderful start to the entire session. You've had your chance to meet different campuses. I'm Simran Sanyal. I work as a Global Student Operations Manager, and I also support students with the financial options that are on the table. I work with our partners on the offering side, and I assist students with any queries that they have on their journey in order to make yourself completely independent financially. So it's a short presentation. It's about 10 minutes. We've tried to keep it short and concise. In the end, I'll also be sharing details of the team members that you can get in touch with and the links for any further information if you'd like. To what Lauren said in the beginning, if you've got any questions, please put them in your Q&A and we will answer them once the session is over. All right, I'll very quickly share my screen. Well, financing your degree and getting loans, making yourself independent in order to support your future aspirations. What we offer here for all our students is we have a tie-up with an organization called Fly Finance. And Fly Finance is an aggregator. So irrespective of the college you're going to, irrespective of the intake you are looking at, you can go to Fly Finance, you can reach out to them. They have a consultant that is dedicated to you. So if you see here, it says admission status. So somebody, if you're just figuring out where you want to go, or you've already decided the term that you want to take, or even if you've got an offer letter and you're wondering how to finance your degree. So this is a one-stop place to be able to do that. Benefits of getting an education loan. Sometimes we as students, we look at the tuition fees and we wonder, this is all that we need to give. Education loan would cover everything along with your tuition fees as well. So your travel expenses, your living expenses, your laptop. So you will have no financial burden when you actually travel or you decide to travel to the US to start your studies. Also, what we've seen is that having a loan tends to help because it tends to build your credit history. So it's always beneficial. Now, some of you could have a question, Simran, that what makes a good loan applicant? I mean, how do I set myself apart from the others and ensure that my loan gets accepted? It's extremely simple. Good grades, having an offer letter from a reputed, recognized university, which you've actually been a part of, many during today's sessions, having a strong financial background, parents or guardians, relatives that can support your financial history, a good overall academic score, and definitely future prospects, depending on where you're going, what kind of an education you're looking at. No wonder STEM courses happen to be so popular with most of our students here. So these are the few points that make your application strong. So when you're applying, make sure you keep all of this in mind. The best thing about applying through this portal of Fly Finance is that, you don't have to go to every bank individually to figure out what the requirements are. This portal has a tie-up with about 18 plus banks, and you will see them. You've got some nationalized Indian banks. We've also got banks like Empower and Prodigy. And how Empower and Prodigy stand out is that these happen to be banks that do not require any cosigner or collateral. What that means is, for most of you who know it, but for the others who wonder what this term means, and this is something you must familiarize yourselves with as you get into, financing your education. So cosigner would mean somebody who would be your guarantor, somebody who would sign on your behalf. And collateral would mean that you would need to keep something as a collateral. It could be a fixed deposit. It could be a property or something like that. So if you are interested in pursuing an opportunity where you do not need a collateral or a cosigner, then Empower and Prodigy are great products. However, if you already have a solid financial standing with any of the other banks, then obviously you can choose out of those banks. Now, how does this process work? You figure out what your requirement is. When I say requirement, what is the loan amount you're looking at? For how long are you looking at? You complete your documentation. Once your documentation is complete, you fill in your application, and then you're given an option of 3 to 4 banks that match your criteria. You have the right to choose the bank where you want to go in terms of getting your education financed. Once that is done, the decision is made, a small token of processing fees is paid, and the amount is disbursed. But what I'd like to bring to everybody's attention here is to make you understand that education loans get disbursed once the visa is granted. So my request to all of you is going to be, do not wait for your visa grant process to finish, your visa interviews to finish, and then go for the bank loan. It's a very simple process. You can put your application before you go for your visa interview. You can get the approval letter in your hand, which would then ensure that, you have the safety of having the funds behind your back and you've got them. The visa officer would also know that you have the funds required, and you would not waste any time. The moment you have your visa, the funds would be released. In case, unfortunately, for any certain reason, the visa gets rejected, you don't pay anything at all in terms of the loan amount. All you pay is the processing fee. So it's more like you have an idea of what would the interest rate be, how soon can I get it? And if you're wondering, well, this all seems fine, Simran, but we'd really like to know, what is the term of the loan? What is the rate of interest, which is like a huge dollar figure that everybody's concerned with. We've got a section on the website of frequently asked questions. It's a very, very comprehensive section. What I've done is I've taken a couple of questions just to kind of share with you, and then you all can navigate the website to get answers specifically to your questions. Example, something very simple. Who can get an education loan? Well, if you're an Indian student above 18 years of age, you would be eligible for the loan. The reason I say an Indian student at this point in time is because at this point in time, this particular loan facility is available to Indian students. However, in the next couple of months, this entire process is going to be open to other students outside of India as well. What kind of documentation is required? How long does it really take from the time that I apply to the time that the loan actually gets processed and dispersed? So the application to the final approval letter days is anything between 7 to 12 working days. The rate of interest, again, varies depending on your financial documentation that you provide, the offer letter of which campus is that, and the course that you're going to study. So the rate of interest, again, is anything between 8 to 14%. And how long would it take for you to pay the amount back in terms of duration? Again, anything between 7 to 14 years, depending on how much you want to pay and how comfortable you are with the duration of the loan. A little bit more on this. I did speak very briefly about collateral and co-applicant or co-signer. But in terms of paying back the EMI, extremely flexible options, which you can choose as per your own comfort. You can either pay direct full EMI, simple or full interest. You also have something called complete or full moratorium, which means that you can decide to pay or start your EMIs after your program is finished. So lots of options for you to choose from. And lastly, where do you go? I have a link here. I would put it in the chat box as well. You can click the link, go to the website and get all the information. In case you have any issues, you've got any additional questions, which once the session finishes and that's bothering you, I have my email ID here, simran.sanyal@shorelight.com. I also have my colleague's email ID here. Please feel free to reach out to us. We would be very happy to assist you in terms of where your application is, what is happening, if there is anything needed or required from the processing part of it. So we'd be very happy to help you with anything. I think we are equally excited to be a part of your international student journey and to really make sure that you have the support that you require to make this huge transition. That, my friends, is the end of this short presentation. Very happy to take any questions in the Q&A.
Thank you, Simran. That was very, very comprehensive. Currently, we don't have any open questions. You must have answered everybody.
Yep.
We'll sit maybe in silence for another minute, just in case anybody thinks of anything. But that was great. And I would just recommend to everybody reaching out. If you have any questions about eligibility or best options for you, just reach out to your counselor or our team, and we can advise you.
The questions, Lauren, generally will come to them, once they've gone back and figured out, spoken to a couple of friends
Yep.
or family members. So that's the reason why you have our details. Just absolutely feel free to get in touch with us.
That sounds great.
I am.
Well, I think let's call it then. Well, thank you everybody, and thank you, Simran. And perfect. You've added the link in the chat again, so everybody click on that before you leave. And wonderful. Thank you again.
Thank you.
We'll end it there. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.